Welcome back to Nest Nomad and Beyond, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the Nebula Capsule 3.
Yeah, we've had one of these in the family for about 6 years now. We originally brought one for the van, for van movie nights, but since we've used it in the tent, in the awning, kids sleepovers, movie nights in the garden, the whole shebang.
It's definitely a bit of kit that really earns its place, and we can speak absolutely honestly about this, having owned it for such a long period of time, and we are now on our second most upgraded model.
When we originally started our movie nights in the van with the girls, we just had an iPad we'd stick on the corner. But then we found the Nebula portable projector, and this thing is a game changer. I managed to hook it to our pop top, put up an old white sheet, and this thing was like having a little portable cinema in the van. It was brilliant. And we've never looked back really. This model itself has a upgraded gimbal attachment which you can use, which I think would be really helpful.
And I should start out by saying that this is our second take on a Nebula projector. We have had an earlier model, as Martin said, but I just wanted to be upfront about the fact that it didn't break. Martin dropped it. So that's why we ended up having to get a second one. Not because there was any fault on Nebula's behalf, but because we had a bit of a moment on our end of things. The fact that we replaced it when that happened should speak volumes, and it's definitely something that we use on a regular basis. So one of the big considerations for us when we were first looking for a portable projector was its size. As I said before, we were looking for something that was going to be basically to live in our van. That was kind of why we were in the market in the first place. And so we really wanted something that wasn't going to take up too much space. And as you can see with the Nebula, it's really compact, quite neat little sort of Dalek looking thing really. It's basically no bigger than kind of a water bottle, which is great. It kind of fits very neatly in the cupboard in the van. And obviously if you were looking for something for your home, then again, it's not taking up too much space, which is great.
Yeah, I think the gimbal is also a really good addition. This really helps you, give you kind of more options if you are in your van or in your tent. This also has an auto keystone correction, which means that if you were at a slight angle and slightly off tilt, it would auto correct itself. So the big one for me is the fact that they've upgraded the definition. It's no longer just 720, it's now 1080, so full HD, which makes a big difference, especially when you think about the fact that they haven't upgraded the brightness level. It's still 200 lumens, but purely by the fact that they've upgraded the definition, it already looks more vibrant and brighter. So I think that cancels out the fact that they haven't done anything with the actual brightness levels. But I still think it works if you're in a kind of dimly lit room under an awning. The kids have used it there and it worked really nicely.
Yeah.
And especially at night in the tent, it looks really nice and sharp now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things when you look at it kind of side by side, when the spec sheets are literally on paper, you kind of think, oh, okay, they upgraded pretty much everything except that. Did they just kind of forget? But actually, you don't really need that. I think the kind of the 1080p upgrade is doing so much of the heavy lifting in terms of the user experience and the viewing experience that actually it's sort of, you know, you don't really need that extra kind of upgrade on the ANSI anyway.
And this thing now is almost like having a mini smart TV in a capsule. So everything runs through Google TV. You put your Google email address in, all your apps come up. So you've got everything from Paramount Plus, you've got your YouTube, you've got your Netflix, you've got Disney Plus, all of them. Even Apple TV works, which for us is great. We buy all of our movies via Apple, so we can get our home movie list on this, which is incredible. There's no longer faffing around trying to plug an iPad in via the HDMI cable. It's all in this capsule. So as long as you've got internet or Wi-Fi connection, you can get everything you want on this and just start watching. The one thing I would say is it took me a couple of goes to get everything set up properly. So don't set it up on the campsite. Make sure you set it up at home properly when you've got stable internet and Wi-Fi connection. You've got all your passwords to hand, so you can make sure it's ready to go before you take it out into the wilderness.
We're talking about this within the context of camping, which is kind of the original purpose that we bought it for. But actually the kind of happy accident that sort of stemmed from that some years back is that we found that we ended up using it quite a bit more than we expected to at home. So, you know, we've had countless nights where we've, you know, been out in the garden and had the projector out there with the screen, and the kids will be out there with the fire pit on and blankets and doing the whole kind of, you know, open cinema situation, which they love.
And another thing to mention, this thing is also power bank compatible. So you can plug your USB power bank in and power the portable projector. On its own battery, it lasts for about 2.5 hours, which should get you through a good film, as long as it's not Lord of the Rings or anything too strenuous. It also has a built-in Bluetooth speaker, so you can just use it to play your music if you wanted to. Has HDMI in, has USB 3 in and USB-A, and it has an aux in, which is pretty old school. Just to talk a little bit about the screen we use now, as I mentioned, we started off with a bit of white blackout fabric. It always used to get a bit creased and look a bit tatty, but we upgraded. We've got a nice fancy pull down projector which I got off Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below on the show notes so you can find that. It's about £50. It fits really neatly into our pop top roof, especially when it's all closed down. Perfect companion to this. We've got two carabiner clips that go on the sides. You hook that onto the handles of the pop top, and you've got an instant movie theatre in the back of your van. First thing, I think I would change the app, because I find it really clunky and sticky and doesn't always connect. You keep pressing it and suddenly it does 10 things at once and it does nothing for half an hour. So I just tend to use the remote control.
That's one of the things for me in terms of what I would change would be probably the battery life. That's probably the sort of slight niggle. 2.5 hours is good. There's definitely, you know, not a massive grumble there, but I just think if, you know, movies are getting longer and longer and longer these days, and I just think it would be nice to just maybe have an extra half an hour on the battery life, just to sort of put you in that comfort zone of knowing that you're not going to get cut off like right at the very end. I mean, I guess it works for a range of people, really. I mean, certainly we've used it in a range of different settings. Obviously camping, that's, you know, that was our original kind of purchase intent, and it absolutely has stood up to the test of time there, both within our awning setting and in our van. So both of those, big tick. And then home, absolutely, you know, we've used it in the garden. As I said before, we've had, you know, movie nights, friends round, the kids have had their friends round, sleepovers in the garden, fire pit, the whole outdoor cinema experience. It's been brilliant for that. And then likewise, just within our kind of everyday situation at home, if the kids are sort of contesting whatever is on the TV, you know, it's great to be able to just say to them, okay, fine, take the Nebula upstairs, and they just chill out with the movie projected onto their ceiling. So I think it has a really great broad use case and covers a lot of different needs really, really well.
I really love it. It's probably one of the first things on our list when we're going away camping, especially in the UK and the weather's a bit iffy. Just plan ahead. Make sure you have a portable battery pack with you that you can plug in, so you're not going to get to the final 20 minutes of that film and it's going to turn itself off. Be prepared, you know, bring something with you to give it an extra power option.
Yeah.
Do not rely on the app on the phone. By all means, use it to set things up if you want to, but make sure you have the remote control with you. And I think the big one for me is set it up at home, where you know you have all the login details and you have good, stable internet, because you don't want to be faffing around with that thing, trying to get all your login details correct. Remember those passwords when you're in the middle of a tent and the kids are asking for a movie to be put on. But if you can get all that done, this is brilliant. No, I have a lot of really fond memories from, you know, camping with the kids and having our movie nights in the van when they were tiny. It's really lovely to look back on.
When you first come up with the sort of idea of, you know, could we upgrade from just watching it on an iPad, and then you get something like the Nebula and you're kind of actually living that and you think, actually this is pretty cool. We definitely love the Nebula, highly recommend. There is tons of further detail on this particular model on our blog, which we can put a link to in the description and the show notes. Please go check it out. It's got all of our stories on there as well, around all of our use cases for the Nebula and where it's really worked for us over the years.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel, and we'll see you guys very soon.
Take care.